Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Justin here, back with Wrestling Travel over here in the USA. And today, continuing my series of interviews, I'm happy to welcome, all the way from the United Kingdom, Maddog Mike Angus. Maddog, how are you doing, my friend, today?
Yes, Justin, great to see you, my friend. How are you?
Doing very well, I tried to dress up the part. I forgot the shades. You're looking dapper as ever, Mike. So what I want to do is just get a chance to chat with you and let the people get a chance to know who you are. You are one of the many people who helped us out quite a bit with Mania Crawl, sending in a video, and actually you got a hold of a lot of people for me that were able to participate. So I appreciate that that you got everything kind of up and running on short notice. It was short notice on my end too. But overall, we raised over $3,300 for the Red Cross. So did I catch you off guard with all that stuff last week?
You seem to be always ready to catch up with all the gangs. So, yeah, anything like that, just let me know. We can always, we always do try and stay in touch. So, yeah, it was great to get all the UK gang involved as well with the Wrestling Travel over in the States there. But, yeah, everyone really enjoyed their participation in that. And I think it all came out pretty well for you. So, and obviously, raising that much money for the Red Cross is just absolutely awesome. So great work by Lee and yourself and all the guys over there who made that happen. So excellent work.
Jamie at Mania Crawl was the guy, you know, that poor guy who ran that Twitch channel and all that stuff. We did it last minute. And you know what? $3,300 in a time where, hey, people don't know where their next dollar is coming from. For the wrestling community to band together and the wrestling fans and everybody, all of us, to donate a few dollars. I think that's a bigger number than it actually appears. I always think about, like, if they say, hey, back in 1921, I bought a car for $200, but if you change it into $2,020, what it is, you know, I feel like that $3,300 is a lot more than it actually seems. So, obviously, you can tell I'm not a great interviewer, and everybody watching it can tell. So I'm going to just kind of jump into the next question here. You're a ring announcer right now over there in the UK. Tell me about what companies you're working for, and tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name's the Maddog Mike Angus. I ring announce for TNT Extreme Wrestling out of Liverpool in the United Kingdom. I also ring announce for Wrestle Island, Britannia Wrestling Promotions, and the LWF as well over here in the UK. So my main company that I work with is TNT Extreme Wrestling. So they're a company run by Jay Actor out of Liverpool. We've been running for 5 years now. I've been the ring announcer the whole time there. And it's, you know, we've put on a great show. We've had some great wrestlers coming through the doors over here in Liverpool. So people like Will Ospreay, Pete Dunne, Pac, names you'll be familiar with over in the States. And a lot of great British talent has come through as well. Kings of the North are our tag team champions. And we've currently got our main TNT world champion at the moment is an American, obviously, David Starr, the product David Starr we have over here working with us at the moment. So he's our current champ. And, you know, so I'm sure you're familiar with a few of them people.
Absolutely. I got a chance to watch David Starr in one of my favorite promotions over here in the U.S., Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling. When I initially was working over in the Pennsylvania area, got the chance to go to one of their shows. The first show, I got a chance to go to a lot of them, but David Starr was the champ at this time. So, and then I got an opportunity to run into David Starr in Toronto during all the indie stuff that was going on around SummerSlam. So I got a chance to go, hey man, I used to watch you during PPW, and you know what? The guy keeps getting better, and he was great then. So, how long have you been involved in wrestling? But when did you get your start? How did you get your start? That's what I'm always curious.
Yeah, so my start's a bit of a random one. I've been a fan for a long time since I was younger, and been to lots of shows, been over to the States a few times, been to WrestleMania 23, WrestleMania 28, and my start came as a real random one because TNT in Liverpool had ran a show, their first show, and then when it came to the second show, they didn't have a ring announcer, and the guy who'd done the first show wasn't able to do the second one. And it was just absolutely by chance that one of my friends knew I was a fan of wrestling, and I host pub quizzes and things around the UK as well. So somebody put two and two together and let the guy know who was running it and said, this guy will be spot on for your promotion. Got a call. Can you do this show this evening? I said, yeah, of course. Went down, loved it, smashed it, and it went from there. So, yeah, been doing it for 5 years now. So all over the UK, some great events, great wrestlers, enjoying it. It's absolutely brilliant.
That's awesome. So WrestleMania 28 in Miami, The Rock versus Cena.
Oh, yeah. It's a great show.
I guess I can count that as the first wrestling event that you and I went to together, because I flew down last minute for that. Yeah, went down for that. Decided on a Friday afternoon that I would fly down from Pennsylvania with a friend of mine, and we had a layover in Charlotte, North Carolina, is where we actually purchased our tickets online, and just went and just said heck with it, and had a whirlwind weekend. And the odd thing is the following year, 29 was 60 minutes from my doorstep, and I couldn't make it because of work. So I was kind of glad that I made the journey down there. Yeah, it's awesome. And now I tried my hand at ring announcing. Now I'm at the tail end of my career, so I've been doing this. I know I look so young and charming, but I've been in the business since 1997. So I'm at the tail end of the career, and actually Wrestling Travel's able to make me prolong it without having to take some bumps. But I have had my hand at doing some ring announcing in the last few years, and let me tell you, it looks easy, but holy cow, to keep everybody's name and weight and height and everything that needs to be said straight in my head or even on a piece of paper. Plus, at the same time, some of the promotions, can you play the music as well? And I've been less nervous for matches, let's put it that way, than I have for ring announcing and going, oh, I don't know what's going on. But, I've gotten a chance to watch you do your stuff. I know Lucy Openshaw is another one that we're familiar with as Wrestling Travel, and you guys do a great job. So
it's wonderful. Yeah, she tends to do some of the events sort of towards Manchester way, and I tend to do the ones around the northwest. So, but we've worked together quite a few times at TNT. She covers it a lot of times for Wrestling Travel. So, so we've worked together quite a lot. She's lovely, Lucy, and does a great job raising money for charity and everything over here in the UK as well. So always try and help Lucy out as much as possible with anything that she's doing. So excellent.
Yeah. The point is, without actually taking it off here, my hat is off to you guys. So anybody watching these videos, I'm telling you, ring announcing, it looks like it's like refereeing. Anything like I can Monday morning quarterback that and go, how could you mess that up? But man, I'm glad that there are people like you that do it, because I was told I did a decent job, but man, was it nerve wracking, So,
I always try and do a good job, make sure the announcements are good and make sure at the right time and everything. And what I do try and do as well is try and make sure I've learned all the stuff beforehand. So I don't like to read off cards if I can help it, but some people prefer to, but I like to try and learn the stuff I'm doing. So especially for like David Starr, as you spoke about before, he's a tougher one that we do. But yeah, I think I've got it down now when I need to. So
great. So I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Go for it. Yeah.
I would love to hear David Starr's introduction, if you could do it off the top of your head.
We'll give it a go. I haven't done it for a few weeks now. Been in lockdown. He's hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He is the cream in your coffee. Your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. The Jewish canon. The physical embodiment of charisma. The most entertaining man in professional wrestling. The Bernie Sanders of professional wrestling. The best of the best. Mr. American Rana. The 104-minute man. The main event. Oh, I forgot Davey Wrestling. I always forget Davey Wrestling. He's really good at Twitter, and he is independent. He is your current reigning and defending TNT World Champion, the King of Taunts, the product, David Starr.
That's fantastic, dude. That is awesome. Oh, I love it.
That's with 3 weeks off in lockdown. So, yeah, I think I'll have it spot on next time we get a show.
Okay. I hope if he watches this video, he forgives you for that. So that's.
Oh, we've done it so many times. One of the shows I missed out. He's really good at Twitter, and yeah, I got a bit of an evil eye for that one. And what did I've missed out something on another show as well, and but it was his fault because he was distracting me. But yeah, we've got it right on the important shows.
That's awesome. Now, you recently had out another guy who I got to see in Pennsylvania quite a bit, wrestling for True Wrestling. Shout out to Clay and Sean of the Cash Masters there. But you recently had Ace Austin out there, did you not?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, Project X, we had Ace Austin over, and he was, put on such a great show in his matches that he had, and it was a real pleasure to meet him. He was a great representative for Impact Wrestling. He did such a great job. True pro, got some, the matches he put on, the athleticism. He was just absolutely awe-inspiring, and he was unlucky not to actually win the main event there in that Project X match, which you can check out on Turnbuckle TV if you haven't had a chance to watch it. But it is viewable in the States, I believe, as well. So definitely worth a watch to see how he showed up that night at TNT.
Cool. I did see some clips that I think Lee McAteer took while he was over there, just on his phone. And yeah, the guy puts on a show all the time. Did you get a chance to ever see? It was prior to him signing with Impact, but I do believe it was with True Wrestling, and the place where they always hold their events, where he climbed the back of the basketball hoop and did a dive. Yeah, and I always feel like it was great because once that started kind of going viral, I try to avoid saying going viral now as much as I can in these day and age. But it was like, hey, got a chance to see him, in front of, a handful of fans back before he made it big. So that's kind of cool. You mentioned, what are some of the, who are you, besides obviously your own guys, the guys you work with, I know that you're fans with, but who are some of your people that you looked up to in the business, maybe growing up, like who would be on Maddog, Mike, Angus, not currently working, but Maddog, Mike, Angus as a young adult, what would be on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling of all time? If you could pick like four people, if I had to keep it to four, where would you be at on that?
Well, mine's always fluctuating, but you tend to find that Bret Hart is always on there, the Hitman. He was, a big part of watching wrestling growing up. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah! I think HBK, Shawn Michaels. And then this is the one, this fluctuates quite a bit. It can be Hogan, it can be Flair, it can be Foley every now and again. I think at the moment I'm swaying towards Roddy Piper because I've been watching a lot of Piper's stuff. And also, when I was at WrestleMania 28, I had the absolute pleasure to meet Roddy Piper. And what a gentleman he was. And just one of the nicest people I've met in wrestling. And he was so friendly, so... yes, he's crept right up there now as well. So, yeah, I have sort of an alternate in Mount Rushmore. So,
yeah, I like being able to ask the questions because I wouldn't be able to answer them. I've got so many, like you said, it does fluctuate. And now that we've got a lot of time on our hands to watch the network and all these other things and catch up on YouTube. I mean, I'm watching a lot of stuff, and not getting sick of pro wrestling yet, which is great.
I've just watched a couple of shows that I hadn't seen for years, WrestleMania 8, WrestleMania 6, and I also did a podcast in the UK just the other week with a guy called Wrestling with John's podcast, and we reviewed WrestleMania 9 on that one, which was one of the first ones I watched as a kid. So, so we did a review of that the other day, which was interesting because he was saying how it's like the Marmite of WrestleManias, you either love it or you hate it. So that was an interesting one to cover. So, yeah, I'd like check it out. I'll send the links over to you to have a look at, see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know he actually contributed video stuff as well to help out over the weekend. But yeah, WrestleMania 6 takes me back to a time that I was discussing with people, and I might have only been discussing it in my own head, to be honest with you, Mike, is I remember leading up to like WrestleMania 6 as a kid, that feeling that we had pre-internet where it was going to be when they said it's going to be Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, that, oh my goodness, effect that it had on us, going, whoa, I can't believe it. And then even I can't come off the top of my head with some matches in there, but when they would say, have a minor feud between, let's say, the Orient Express and the Rockers, whoever it was, we never, as children, as kids, as fans, I never said, oh, I want to see this guy versus this guy. I'd rather see that. Why didn't they do this? It was just that enjoyment of, wow, okay, cool.
That's it, right, you got told what you were watching, and that was it,
Right.
And most of the time, what you got was, looking back now, it might not be as good, but look, at the time, that was awesome. Just getting to see everybody, all the characters. That's what really brought it to life for me. And you mentioned the Rockers. What a tag team they were. We had Marty Jannetty over for the Love of Wrestling last year in Liverpool. So Wrestling Travel sponsored that, obviously, and we looked after Marty and a few of the other guys who were over, and it was great to see the camaraderie between the guys who were worked in the industry so long and still just enjoy themselves. And we had some great times with them over the weekend in Liverpool last year, and looking to be doing it again in October this year. So hopefully the rearranged dates will all go ahead nicely, and it'll be a great show.
Yeah, and I wish I could make it out there for one of those. Sounds fantastic. I love going to like a fan fest, even just to watch from afar the interactions between the fans and the wrestlers. Or I'm a fan myself. Obviously, it's really nice to jump in and shake hands. What it's nice to hear about you two is you had a nice interaction with Roddy Piper. I like to hear more good interactions than bad ones. Some of the stuff I read on the internet had a bad reaction with the wrestler, but I expect that you were going to have a bad reaction with the wrestler, sir, if you were bugging them at 4 a.m. in the airport, or when they're trying to eat. There's a time and a place, and the guys and girls in the business are just like you and I. We're going to have days when we're in fantastic moods, and we're going to have days when, what, don't bother me. And for these guys, really, it's I'm glad to see great interactions outside of the ring. But when you go to a show, they're on. For the most part, they should be on and ready to meet you. So who are some of the, besides Roddy Piper, you got any other the bigger names that you've met? I'm not going to ask bad experiences. I don't want to put anybody out, but who have you met have been great?
Yeah, people have been great. Fred Ottman, Tugboat, Typhoon, Shopmaster, he's always a great guy. Barry Darso at Demolition, I had a great time with Barry. It came up on my Facebook today. 3 years ago today, me and my son met Bobby the Brain Heenan. And Bobby was absolute favourite of mine. And I got to tell him, Royal Rumble 92, I said to him, the commentary on that was just one of my favourite moments ever. And, he gave me a big thumbs up. He wasn't too well at the time, unfortunately. He was coming towards the end of his life, unfortunately. But he was still absolutely spot on. You could see in his eyes, the glint in his eyes. He was giving thumbs up to all the kids. But then any adults who were coming by, he was giving them their fingers. Flipping at the birds. So he was top banter still. And I've met so many great people through wrestling. Last year, Christian was a really good laugh. He was causing havoc in the hotel with Jericho and Marty Jannetty. They all had a great time. And people like Brett and Kevin Nash were all there. And everyone was just so respectful. I'll tell you a great story. Lee, who runs Wrestling Travel, decided the hotel had stopped serving food on the Sunday evening, unfortunately. And Lee said, let's go to McDonald's and just get burgers and nuggets for everybody. So we went. And we must have spent a ridiculous amount on food at McDonald's and brought these bags of food back to the hotel. And it was surreal giving burgers and chips and stuff out to Christian, Booker T, Marty Jannetty, giving them all some food to have because the hotel restaurant had shut. And that was Lee at Wrestling Travel sorted that all out for them. And they were definitely very appreciative of it.
That's great. So as I kind of wind down here, what are you doing to keep yourself busy? During this time of, hey, we all got to kind of stay inside. What's Maddog doing to stay out of trouble, I guess?
Yeah. Well, my little boy is 10, so I've been actually teaching him at home for the last couple of weeks while he's been would have been meant to be at school because all the kids are off. And then we're on Easter holidays now. So, so we just got Easter egg hunts planned for the weekend and stuff like that. And wrestling-wise, I've been trying to keep in touch with everyone, doing podcasts and interviews. And today we had an interesting one. Obviously, it's a little bit later on in the day here. We're at like 5 o'clock. But today we've been raising money for the NHS to thank all the hard-working hospital workers and on the front line. And we've all been wearing wrestling T-shirts all day. So I've been modeling wrestling T-shirts all day today.
Fantastic. So one of the things I want to wrap up with is this is going to go out to, Wrestling Travel. We've got fans around the world. And hopefully what we're trying to do here is provide some content for the people that need something different to watch. And also for the people that threw in videos for the Red Cross. What can you give me, and we'll have one of our great guys flash them up on the screen. But can you tell me how I can follow Maddog Mike? You got your social media plugs. You talked about Turnbuckle TV. Is there anything that you'd like to plug here right now? I'd love to help you out.
Well, we've got loads of stuff. Obviously, you want to check out TNT Extreme Wrestling on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's my main company I work for. We've got Britannia Wrestling Promotions, the LWF, and Wrestle Island, all great companies that I work with. Obviously, Wrestling Travel over here in the UK for any of your wrestling travel needs. If you're thinking of heading over to the States next year, they're the people to go with. For myself, I have an Instagram. I also have Twitter, which is at Angus Maddog. And my Facebook page is open for anyone to check out as well, which I believe is Mike Maddog Angus over on the Facebook there. So, make sure, check it out. You can see on my Instagram as well, all my photos of all the people I've met over the years. One final one I was going to mention was just popped up on Twitter before. Michael P.S. Hayes has been with the WWE for 25 years today. But I was in Detroit for WrestleMania 23 in 2007. And after the Hall of Fame, I went to have a beer in a bar. And the guy next to me at the bar was Michael P.S. Hayes. And I said, "Oh, hi, Michael, looking forward to the show tomorrow." And he said, "Oh, sit down, have a Jack Daniels with me. I'm getting some food in a minute." Introduced me to his wife and some of his friends who were there. And, what a great guy he was. And had shared some stories with me, and that is just shows, some people in the industry are just great, aren't they? So, yeah.
Well, that's incredible. Michael, that's a legend. I mean, I'm an old man now, but I used to watch when the Freebirds versus the Von Erichs. When my dad used to have ESPN because we didn't have cable, but when I'd visit my dad in the summer, so being able to watch them, and that's incredible. What was the main at WrestleMania 23? It escapes me. What was the main event?
It was Shawn Michaels versus John Cena. And if you watch it back at all, I'm in row 5 with a DX T-shirt on, and you can just clearly see me for the whole show, just up to my usual antics in the crowd, really. So we were, I had a chap next to me who had the World Heavyweight Championship with him, so you can see him popping up quite a lot during the show. And, great show.
Cool. Okay, so funny that's the main, because it did escape me. But during this time of cleaning my house, as we all have time to do, I come across some boxes that had some of my magazines in it, and I ran across the Pro Wrestling Illustrated that was from not that long ago, naming 40 stars and their influences, and it has greatest matches, and it has Shawn Michaels' greatest match versus Cena in 2007, which I thought, you got Michaels versus The Undertaker. You get, Shawn Michaels got so many great matches that's one that I'm going to pull down off the DVD rack. I was just thinking the other day, because obviously I've seen it, but I don't recall that one as stepping out as one of the greatest matches. Now, Shawn Michaels is awesome. John Cena, who I've met and is awesome, is very underrated. Very underrated. So I'm looking forward to it.
They put on a wrestling clinic, but for the live crowd, I don't think necessarily it was the result people wanted to see. I remember they sort of cut away from the crowd near the end quite a lot, especially my row. They were not happy. Everyone was there for a Shawn Michaels title win, but obviously Undertaker had won the championship earlier in the show, so I think having them both change, I don't think many people were expecting that to occur, really, but sometimes dreams do come true,
Good. So besides checking out TNT, I guess Maddog Mike and Justin here with Wrestling Travel, I guess we recommend pulling up that Cena Shawn Michaels match. So Maddog Mike, it's a pleasure that to finally speak with you. We've spoken briefly via text over the last few months, so it was finally nice to get an opportunity like this to speak with you. And I just want to say thank you. Stay safe. I hope you get your teaching degree after this is all over for teaching your son. And I'm looking forward to actually meeting up with you in person over in the UK, or you coming over with Wrestling Travel in the near future. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Great to speak to you, Justin. Thanks so much for having me on as a guest. And best of luck during these hard times, everybody. I hope everyone's well. All right.
All right. Thank you, Mike.